been a pretty bad month for Amber Heard, I gotta say. It's looking pretty good for Johnny, looking pretty bad for her. Her legal team is kind of dipping out on her, leaving her high and dry. I have this petition here, remove Amber Heard from Aquaman 2. It's about to hit 450,000 signatures. It'll probably hit it pretty soon. And a few other things have come out. Notably, a good friend of hers that's dropped her. She lost another key witness. I'm going to go over that. But there's a couple of other things to talk about here that are pretty interesting. A few bombshells that have come out, such as this. Text messages between her and Elon Musk, where she calls him her rocket man. And he says, I really, really like you to her. Kind of indicating that there might have been, I don't know, an affair going on. That's bad news for her. So this just came out today. It's the 24th as I'm recording this. So recording this at night before I go to bed. So you'll see it in the morning today. But you've got this. And then you have this now coming out. Amber Heard had bruises while Johnny Depp was in another country, says witnesses. This is pretty devastating because this kind of really hurts her argument. And it once again vindicates Depp, who is clearly innocent of a lot of stuff here. And it's just really funny. You know, Amber Heard is a prominent METOO spokesperson. And it turns out she's quite a liar. It's funny how those two things go together and how often that happens. It's going on a lot right now. Man, I don't even know how to cover all of this stuff. Like, there's a bunch of YouTubers that have been getting hit, a lot of people in comics. I'm trying to put it all together, but, you know, a lot of this stuff is really questionable. Look at the stuff that happened with Angry Joe. You know, that's a really good example of people trying to just destroy somebody. And for what? For what? It's insane. So, you know, she did it to him, ruined him. He lost his job at Disney. I don't know if he'll get that Pirates of the Caribbean job back. I hope he does get to come back as Jack Sparrow. And it's kind of looking like he might. Disney's really considering it. And I think that's a great thing. She shouldn't be able to destroy this man's life. And she almost got away with it. But Johnny's receipts are looking really good. And a lot of the people that were supporting her are starting to back out. And that's where we're going to get to right now with the main story. So, from the Daily Mail, exclusive Me Too activist Amanda de Cadenet drops support for close friend Amber Heard and will no longer testify after listening to her verbally abusing Johnny Depp in bombshell tapes as she feels used and misled by actress, who is, of course, Amber Heard. This was a big, key witness for her. She's gone. This is fresh off the heels of her legal team dropping her. I don't see how it can get any worse. I don't know whose bed she's going to go take a dump on next. Someone's going to have a surprise on their bed sheets, I think, because she's going to be pretty upset. And it just keeps getting worse for her, and I wonder how much more is going to come out. But this is fantastic. So let's go over the story and take a look at what's going on here. Prominent METOO supporter, and that's an important thing, a big supporter of it. Amanda de Cadenet has dropped her support for Amber Heard after listening to the tapes of her and Johnny Depp. And those are quite the bombshell tapes, by the way. That's one where she was saying, oh, no one's going to believe you, Johnny, and talking about how she jacked him in the face and all this stuff. They're pretty damning tapes. So the 34-year-old actress was expecting de Cadenet, a close friend and longtime rights activist, to testify against Depp in a series of looming cases. But the British-born TV host 48 reveals in a new legal declaration that she changed her mind because she was appalled and shocked to hear how Amber was speaking to Johnny. Her dramatic turn came after DailyMail.com released a series of bombshell audio tapes in which the couple were overheard discussing their marriage problems and frequent fights. And that's also really when public support shifted, because there used to be a lot of people on her side. And, you know, after those tapes started coming out and stuff, public perception totally shifted against her. And it looks really bad. There was supposed to be a Rolling Stone article simping for her. I think that might have been tucked under a rug. It hasn't come out yet. They were going after a lot of the big YouTubers that have been supporting her. And I think that might be swept under a rug. I'm not sure yet, but it's really interesting. There's no support for her now. Barely any. Barely any. And I almost expect her now to get fired from Aquaman 2. I don't even think that there would be very much backlash for it at this point. I really don't. The Aquaman beauty admitted clocking her Oscar-nominated husband and pelting him with pots, pans, and vases in various recordings made prior to the couple's May 26th split. She also appeared to be goading 57-year-old Depp, predicting that nobody would believe his accounts and telling him, "You are such a baby. Grow the F up, Johnny." Then DeCadney is the second. So DeCadney is the second prominent figure of the METOO movement to part company with Heard in the space of a week after high-profile Time's Up attorney Roberta Kaplan confirmed her firm is no longer representing her, which is, of course, a very big deal. So I'm going to go over Amanda's statement a little bit, but I just want to point out how crazy this is. And I wonder how worse it's going to get. The trial hasn't even started yet. You have to wonder, will she try to do some kind of a settlement at this point? Because everybody is ditching her. And she's pulled so much stuff. The craziest thing to me, there's two things here that I think are wild. First off were her deposition tapes where she was sitting there rolling her eyes and kind of acting snarky and snobby when people were asking her questions. It was terrible. It was very immature. And I wonder if that was one of the reasons that Kaplan ditched her. I imagine it might be. Because it was terrible the way she acted. It was very unprofessional. She looked like a clown. And anybody watching those, I imagine, is not going to think very highly of her. The second thing is, of course, that she hired somebody to get dirt on Johnny Depp. Hired a private investigator, right, to go interview like 100 people to try and get some dirt on Johnny Depp. The man went out, interviewed 100-something people, and couldn't find anything. Was so convinced that he was a decent dude that instead of going back to Amber Heard and saying couldn't find anything, he released everything to the Daily Mail, and they put it all out there that there was nothing. I think for all case in point here, like, it seems that Johnny Depp is a good dude. And, you know, he might have had some addiction problems and stuff throughout his life. He's probably no saint in some ways, but it does seem that he is a good person. I mean, the fact that he does so much stuff with like children's hospitals and stuff, the way he goes out and never looks for any press with that stuff, always told me the guy was a decent man. Okay, just because he has some addiction problems doesn't make him a terrible person. So, you know, I don't know what she was trying to do here, but it's not going to work. And finally, it does look like the hashtag Justice for Johnny, it looks like you're going to see some justice. I really do think it's going to happen. I just don't see how she wins any of these cases. I think that she's going to end up having to pay. And he's going to get totally vindicated because everybody is ditching her. The person who's ditching her right now spells women WOMXN. And she ditched her. That's, to me, says a lot. It really does. So let's go to this. So a source close to Decadenay said she was a survivor herself and remained a steadfast advocate of women's rights. Amanda feels she was used and misled by Amber and hopes Amber receives the help she needs, the source said. So here is the statement that was given out. As a longtime women's rights activist and survivor, it is my fundamental position to believe them and speak up against these issues, Decadenay states in her June 18th declaration, using an alternative spelling for women favored by some of these activists. Historically, women's rights in this area have been chronically undermined and their voices have been silenced. This is one of the reasons why when Amber told me her version of the conflict between her and Johnny, it was my inclination to believe her and support her. I recently acknowledged that I will not be testifying in Johnny Depp's upcoming case against the Sun. I also acknowledge that new facts have come to my attention, which has changed my perspective on this matter, she writes in her declaration. When the first audio tape was released and I heard Amber being verbally hurtful to Johnny, I was horrified. She writes in the statement obtained exclusively by dailymail.com. I texted Robbie Kaplan, Amber's attorney, and let her know I needed to speak with her urgently. When we spoke, I told her I was appalled and shocked to hear how she was speaking to Johnny, and that was not okay with me. When I confronted Amber concerning the recording, she informed me that it was edited by Johnny's team and I had hoped Amber would take accountability for her behavior, but she did not. I have not spoken with Amber since this exchange and have come to the very painful realization that someone I advocated for and believed was not entirely forthcoming with me. She goes on to say also that she supports due process and is looking forward to the outcome. And that's really it. So that's where we're at. Another person is ditching Amber Heard. How many more will be ditching her? How many more people are going to jump from the SS Amber Heard as it rolls into that iceberg? I wonder. I think there'll be a few more because it's a train wreck for her, and I just don't know. I'm really enjoying this, and I'm getting a big laugh out of this. And I think that this is going to get worse. I'm really looking forward to the end result. And it's funny. So that's the story she's going to go with, that the tapes were edited by Johnny's team. Okay. We'll see how that holds up. You've got to think that her new lawyers are going to tell her to settle. Will she? Won't she? I don't know. But it's entertaining nonetheless. And I don't know if her career rebounds from this. I think Johnny's will, but I think hers is going to go into the toilet. I don't think she'll be an Aquaman 2. That's my opinion. That could change. I don't see them keeping her as more people hit that petition. That petition is going to hit 500,000 people. It's for sure going to hit 500,000 people. And I wonder if you did a petition to keep her on there, how many signatures would that get? I imagine not very many. So, we'll keep watching. We'll see what happens. But this is another big L for the Heard team. And I'm looking forward to seeing how many more she takes. Anyway, give me your thoughts on this. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. Also, if you would, throw a like up, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out.